Hello, and welcome to Silver Screen Reviews. We're broadcasting from Bing's Cafe inside Weatherford. We're your hosts, Edward Finn,
And Lige Armstrong.
and each week we're going to bring you the latest and greatest hits on the silver screen. So, Lige, what's our rating system?
Well, we have a very unique rating system. It starts off with 1 duck and goes up to 4 beavers. Basically, your 5-star system. So, Ed, what's the benefit our viewers get from watching us?
Ah, yes, the phrase that pays. Well, each week we're going to bring you, the audience, a trivia question. And at the end of the show, we will take and answer that trivia question, and that will be the phrase that pays. Now, this week's trivia question. Well, we thought we'd take it back in the day and go for one of those real classics. So, Sean Penn made this word infamous from the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High. See you at the end of the show. So, Lige, what's the first movie on the agenda?
Well, our first movie today is Resident Evil Apocalypse, directed by Alexander Witt and starring Mila Jovovich. It starts off right where the last one finished. Shall we take a look at the clip?
Let's do that.
Imagine a world where you can reverse the effects of age, stress, and sun. From the leading name in biotechnology comes Regenerate. Another breakthrough from the Umbrella Corporation. Regenerate's revolutionary T-cell formula actually brings dead cells back to life. Now, your youthful beauty can last forever. Always consult your doctor before starting treatment. Some side effects may occur. Regenerate is a registered trademark of the Umbrella Corporation. Our business is life itself.
Well, that was Resident Evil Apocalypse. I personally thought it was far superior to the first one. What did you think?
Oh, definitely. It definitely had a better storyline, better gripping tale. The plot line definitely held your interest.
Most definitely. The sequence of events took place very fast, kept you awake, kept you interested in the movie.
Was there anything you disliked about the movie?
Sir, I thought the fact that they just completely decimated the city immediately was a little hazy, but it worked.
I tend to agree. You know, doctors don't always make the smartest choices.
That's true.
The only other aspect of this movie I kind of had like a flashback to back in the 80s when the Bionic Woman was in the $6 Million Man and all were going about. It was like, we can build them stronger and faster. And, you know, that's really what this movie kind of takes on the role of.
Yeah, see what they could do with this destructive virus to see how much power this corporation could get.
Exactly. You know, this T-virus that's being stored in this hive, they just decide to, hey, let's release it on the world and see what happens.
Yeah, very true.
Anything you particularly liked about the movie?
I did like the fight scenes. The fight scenes I felt were very well choreographed, very, let's see here.
I particularly liked the fact that they shot the Australian rappelling down the side of the building with Alice. That was definitely a keynote in the movie. They took and brought another aspect of action to the movies, which you don't see a lot of anymore.
Very true, very true. So how would you rate this film?
I'm definitely leaning into the 2 Beaver rating. It had, again, a good plot. Screenplay was well thought out. Action, definitely lots of impact.
Yeah, I'm close to agreeing with you. I'd give it 2.5. I just thought it did make that benchmark breach of having a sequel be better than the first movie.
And that doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. So what's the next movie on our agenda?
Oh, we're going to take and check out the Friday Night Lights. And for all you football fans and melodramatics, you're going to like this film.
Gentlemen, the hopes and dreams of an entire town are riding on your shoulders. You may never matter more than you do right now. It's time. Now, if you want to win state, you're going to have to beat a team of giants, a team of monsters over in Dallas that outweigh you about 30 pounds a man. This is real, sincere warfare. We're in the business of winning.
Run! Yes, should we believe the hype?
What hype?
The hype about Booby Miles.
No, hype is something that's not for real. I'm all real.
What's it like being the quarterback? I mean, this is a big responsibility for a 17-year-old kid. Do you think you can handle it?
No, that is not acceptable.
Hope so. Your dad played at Permian. What's it like to be the son of a local legend?
Tell me why you can't hold on to the ball. Maybe this is help. Hold on to football.
Next question.
I want to be with a ball carrier. Give me just one touchdown. Just one.
Hey, son, come here. Where you going?
You want me to go in, Coach?
You don't want a helmet? My goodness gracious.
Hands on the wheel, let the golden age begin.
Do you want to play college ball? Do you want to get out of this town?
Think so.
Well, why aren't you doing something about it?
Window down, in the moonlight on your skin.
We gotta lighten up. You're 17. You think it's just a game. I think you're scared just like the rest of us.
I've seen you fight. I've seen you not quit. Can you give me a great effort and just a little bit more? Can we be perfect? So let's take care of it!
One day, when you look back at this time, I dare you to beat it. I dare you.
That was Friday Night Lights. Now this movie is sort of like Varsity Blue meets Remember the Titans. A couple aspects of the movie that really show you the gripping tale this movie can really tell is Tim McGraw and here's a guy who's a country singer and he comes out there and he gives his performance, I'd say definitely a good screen debut. Derek Luke played Bobby, had the emotional breakdown in the car with his uncle. I mean, hey, I was like shocked at this guy. I mean, he really showed you that, this really can be devastating to these kids. And so with that, what was your take on the movie, Lige?
Friday Night Lights. I thought it was a pretty decent movie. I did think that the storyline ran a little bit slow at times, although it was picked up during the football scenes. The cinematography of the games, the playing of the games, it was just amazing. Although, with the storyline being so slow, I just thought it was missing something.
Well, my thoughts are Billy Bob, again, he took and showed us a different side of him, which was really nice to see. He gave some really inspirational points as a coach down in the locker room. The impact of the game really brought you to the realistic aspect of it. So, Lige, what was your take on Billy Bob?
Billy Bob's performance, I thought it was very nice seeing him do a movie where he was the respectable person in the show, look all cleaned up. He was trying to push the team. And generally, I don't see him doing that great of a job, but this time he did a really good job. And going back to your whole thing with the high school football, unfortunately, I didn't have any experience with high school football and how it drives the town, how it just drives the school. We didn't have it at my school. So I would have to give this movie about 2 beavers. What about you?
Well, I thought he did a really good job of inspiring, down in the locker rooms, built the team up to come out on the field. I mean, they had a tough opposition to go after. And my rating, I'm leaning right up there at about 2.5 Beavers, possibly even pushing it up to 3. I will agree that at points in times that it did drag a little bit, which was unfortunate, but that is throughout most movies, that there's always that lag in a movie where they're trying to do a transition. So other than that, I'd definitely recommend going and checking out Friday Night Lights. Okay, so for all you family movie lovers, Lars, what's our next film?
Our next film is A Shark Tale, directed by Bibo Bergeron and Vicky Jensen. Let's see what the fish has to say.
Dun 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 dun.
Can
dun.
anyone stop the shark menace?
Dun dun dun.
Look, it's the Shark Slayer! Whoa! A Shark Slayer!
He's fearless. He's ferocious. He's faking.
Oscar and Lenny, what a team, baby! They ate it up.
When you punched me and the crowd was, ah!
Remember this name.
Oscar.
Oscar the Shark Slayer!
Now, to keep up the act,
Kid, you're a superstar.
they're making up a great white lie.
Hello, Oscar. I forgot.
You're a shark!
Hi.
You lied!
Chief Pop knew that. He'd ice you for sure.
Was he the Godfather or something?
Yeah.
What you mean, yeah?
Yeah, he is.
I want to find this Shark Slayer.
There's only one thing I like better than money. Revenge.
I'm in love.
From the studio that brought you Shrek. Will Smith, Angelina Jolie, Renee Zellweger, Jack Black, Martin Scorsese, and Robert De Niro.
Your shark slaying days are over.
Dun, 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 can't touch this.
Shark Tale.
From now on, nobody makes a move without my okay.
Huh? What'd he do? What'd he do? I can't see it.
Shark Tale was an amazing movie. You have Will Smith, who did a great character portrayal of the main fish. They even got his lips down. And then Robert De Niro, the godfather of the sharks. Who else would you see as doing the godfather? And then Renee Zellweger being Will Smith's love interest, or one of them, and Angelina Jolie. That was one sexy fish.
Hey, I concur on that one.
And then you got Jack Black. He did a great job as being the whale, or being the shark who tried to be a dolphin, I should say.
And then, hey, one of my personal favorites, Martin Scorsese. I mean, this guy is infamous with movies. And then followed that up, he played Sykes, and then he had Ernie and Bernie, his two sidekicks throughout the movie, portrayed by Ziggy Marley and Dougie Doug. There's also Peter Falk, who played the old wise kind of shark of the Godfather family. And then there was Katie Couric.
Yeah, they got the news anchor to do the news.
Exactly. This movie was about a small fish in a big pond.
Wait, not a pond, an ocean.
Oh, that's correct. Well, he was, at the bottom of the coral reef, and he was looking to, make it to the top.
That's true. And then his best friend in the movie,
Lenny,
yeah, he didn't want to take over the family business for some reason.
I really like the aspect of they took all the sharks of the waters for the most part and made them a mafia, and then divided that mafia up into separate families.
That's true. It was very interesting to see it. You could tell every family, the Hammerhead family, the Great White family.
Oh, the Hammerhead family. I can't see the spoon.
What's on my nose? What's on my nose?
Yeah, this movie had an ensemble of a cast. Once again, DreamWorks came through with visually stimulating you with the colors. I loved how they took like modern day things like Gap, Coca-Cola, and all those things, and changed them and put it, Coca-Cola and Gup instead of Gap. I mean, all this really added to the movie.
Just changed it to, they oceanized it or aquaticized it.
Oh, and the taxis. I love the fact that they took, and they set this coral reef to set up, look like New York City.
It was. It really was.
Sony Studios right there down the middle. And, it had New York written all over it. The taxi cab fish that were, yellow with the checkered going across them. And they took it, and they even took and gave him some personality that like a taxi cab would have, or a taxi cab driver would have.
That's very true. And then I really liked the soundtrack. I thought it added immensely to the picture, having big names like Christina Aguilera do new renditions of Car Wash.
It says a lot when you can take a cartoon and put big names to it, and I mean this I would say is definitely a big blockbuster of a movie, which you don't see. I mean, what was the last big one? I mean, I'd say Toy Story. Well, we got Shrek, but that's a whole other thing. That wasn't a cartoon in aspect of this was a cartoon and not the visually of what you'd see with like Shrek or movies along like Pixar's line of films.
Okay, yeah, I get you.
This was cartoon.
Toy Story, Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo, there we go. Finding Nemo.
This is the modern day kind of like a Finding Nemo.
So, what would you say your rating for this movie was?
Oh man, I'm gonna give this thing a 4 beaver.
4 beavers. No aspects you didn't like?
I honestly can't say there was something I didn't like about it. I thought it was fantastic. Kids would love it. College students would love it. Families would love it.
I do have to say that the one part of this whole film that really set it off was in the middle of it, when this little kid pops off and goes, "I hate sharks," and then from across the theater, you hear another kid goes, "Yeah, I do too." That really set the movie off. The whole theater started busting up laughing, and it was definitely a funny point of the whole film, and it wasn't even part of the film. It just made the movie that much more enjoyable.
Very true.
And my take on this would be definitely 4 beavers. It's right there. It has what it takes to make you want to go see it.
Yeah, I'd go see it again.
So would I.
Right on. So what's the next movie we got up on the list?
Well, the boys from South Park are at it again. Team America, World Police. This movie has disaster written all over it. Let's take a look.
We live in a time of unparalleled danger. Weapons of mass destruction are being offered to terrorists all over the world. Global chaos is about to consume every country on Earth. And there is only one hope for humanity.
This.
Team America, World Police. Directed by Trey Parker. The creators of South Park with Matt Stone and Trey Parker have really took and used the imagination wisely in this movie. This movie starts off with Team America coming in and blowing up France, basically, trying to take down some terrorists. What do you got for this to start it off?
Start it off. The marionettes were an interesting idea for a movie, and the way that they did it was really awesome.
I like the fact that this movie starts off and you're like, okay, so they got the marionettes out there, and you're just thinking, you see the strings and all on these guys, and you're like, okay, so how long is this gonna last? It lasts through the entire movie.
You see the strings all the way through the movie, except on the vehicles. The vehicles looked like they were remote controlled or something.
Yeah, but they weren't.
No, they weren't.
They
were done by strings. Everything was done by strings, and the fight scenes in it with the strings were done well.
Interesting would be a good term.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Particularly, this movie had some outrageous aspects of sex supposed to take place on this, more so than what we see. And of course, this guy has the anatomy of a Ken doll, so you can't see a whole lot there, which doesn't say much for men nowadays.
Yeah, very true.
Especially being in the beaver capital of the world. Well, hey, it's true.
All right, dude. Although, granted that this movie was done very well, and from what you would expect from the South Park creators, this was what you would expect for doing it with marionettes.
I mean, these marionettes are expensive, and they blew them up and trashed them. And my understanding, they had like between 5 and 10 marionettes for each one.
Wow.
And some of them actually costed up to a cost of like $250,000.
That's crazy.
But then you saw the cast of the crew that were on this. I mean, there was like what, four units of there was like the model maker, the hair maker, the wig maker. I mean, this had a huge crew to put this movie
First
together.
directing unit, second directing unit, third directing unit, and probably all doing everything at once, just taking different scenes and cutting it up and making it into this outrageous movie.
Definitely outrageous. One last note on this whole making of this movie. From my understanding, this movie, we got to see the sneak preview just last night, and we were lucky enough for that because my understanding was not more than like a week to 2 weeks ago, they were still finished editing it.
Wow.
Finishing the soundtrack and all sorts of things.
The soundtrack. Those are some very interesting original pieces of music that they came up with to run along with the scenes of the movie, and they fit with the scenes and the style of the movie extremely well.
Oh, and you had Gary Johnson, who's a Broadway actor in this film, who leads off the movie, or the introduction of him with Lise, the musical.
Yeah.
And
Broadway show, Lise. Okay.
Yes, it was very, very, very funny for us because we have some other projects going on in this. It was quite funny for us, and hopefully you guys will get to see where that comes in at some point in time.
Yeah.
So, what was this movie like? Well, this movie was The Terminator, Star Wars, Indiana Jones. You name it, you name a big blockbuster action film. This movie made fun of it.
Very true.
From the
James
start.
Bond was even in there.
Oh, James Bond was in
Definitely some James Bond. The vehicles, they're, what was it? Valorized or something like that?
Yeah, Valorized.
More from or something?
It actually had, the vehicles had the addition of like G.I. Joe type of thing.
Yeah,
going on
it's very
with them.
true. Morphing the vehicles and everything. It was very interesting.
Let's see, what are some other aspects of this? Oh, they kept the facial expressions at a minimum. Only thing you really saw, besides the hand movement, body movement, was the jaw just moved up and down. There wasn't any real facial expressions except for the eyes.
Very true.
So, what would you give this movie a rating of?
I would give this rating around 3.5 beavers. Because I felt that because of how it was done, you couldn't really expect. I thought some things could be done a little bit better, but for what it was good.
I would agree with you there. Definitely 3.5 beavers. It had, I think the movie ended with saying, well, we can make a sequel if we want to, but it ain't gonna happen.
Exactly.
This is Silverside Review.
So, what about that trivia question?
Oh, the trivia question, that's right. Well, if you haven't figured it out, Sean Penn made the phrase righteous. The phrase that pays. So what's our scheduled show for next week?
Well, next week we're gonna be seeing Shall We Dance and Cellular, and whatever other surprises come our way.
Well, from Silver Screen Reviews, I'm Ed Finn.
And I'm Elijah Armstrong.
And we'll see you at the theater.